Yeah, I've included that to the speech. I'll mention it and inform them about the reason why we postponed and when it's going to happen.
All right, well, let's start our introduction so we can get to our first speaker. Welcome to today's event on Kwame Nkrumah's day, our today. My name is Queen Mother Nina Womack. I am the Global Director of Women's Affairs for One Map Africa. I'm very excited to be a part of this, to moderate today with my co-moderator, King Oliver. Today we're going to commemorate the legacy of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who was a pioneer, as you guys know, in Pan-Africanism, and also a key architect in the movement toward African unity. So our theme is called Unity in Action, Realizing Nkrumah's Vision for Africa. Okay, so let me quickly introduce King Oliver. Are you there? He may be having internet connection problems, so let me introduce Bishop Joshua for you guys so we can hear. Bishop Joshua Maponga is a Zimbabwean-born public speaker. He's an author, a philosopher, leader, musician, and social entrepreneur. He's made significant contributions through his roles as pastor and bishop, working with various organizations such as the Entrepreneurial Development Southern Africa and the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Maponga holds a degree in philosophy and personal ministries and has extensive experience in branding, banking, nonprofit organizations, and project management with multinational companies. He is the CEO of the Institute Farmers of Thought, which I'm also in that group, and leads the Zimbabwe Indigenous Movement, ZIM, which aims to transform Africa. He's a published author with books including Going Places in the Spirit, So You Want to Be the Master, and Shopping Skills. And his media work includes appearing on TV shows on One Gospel and DSTV, where he has shaped his insights on various platforms. So let's welcome Bishop Joshua Maponga. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you very much, and what an honor to be on this platform tonight. I will try and listen to the rest of it until my battery dies. I've been on the road for the rest of the day. And on this wonderful, wonderful day, I bring you greetings from Southern Africa, as we celebrate one of the founder members, stalwart figure in the establishment of what we may want to call Pan-Africanism, which could have been an ideology which started off in the 60s, late 50s into the 60s, with the uprising of the Americans, Black American brothers in diaspora. But as an ideology of Pan-Africanism, it did not start in the West. The African everywhere has always been longing to come back home. And even as early as the times of slavery, the detached family that was in the coal mine, sugarcane, cotton fields, the entire Black American or Negro spiritual songs that were being sung in their coded language were all in memory, all in remembrance of their home, which was Africa. And by the time our Honorable Dr. Kwame Nkrumah went to study in the Americas, he came back to actually become one of the champions on what we now call the revolution and the independence of African states. Ghana being one of the first countries that actually then pushed colonialism to where we now have a ripple effect of the independence of Ghana, the independence of Kenya, Chama cha Mapinduzi in Tanzania, Mau Mau in Kenya, then Chimurengas, then Swapos, then ANC in South Africa. And this way, this is what I want us to capture maybe for this evening, is that when one good man has a good idea and he implements it well, the ripple effect can be cross-country, can be continental. And we are right now having 55 flags 55 national anthems. And I wonder if Kwame Nkrumah would wake up today, what he would think of such a divided Africa from an idea of independence that he had started. We have become trapped in what I want to call let me coin a new word, neo-independence. Because in as much as we are independent, quote unquote, we are still dependent in terms of our function and our operation. And the African continent, we need to make a declaration right at the beginning of Kwame Nkrumah, and I will say it on his birthday, that from today going onwards, Africa is the country, and all our various countries, we are now going to call them provinces, because this was his dream. We have one country, and the country is called Africa. Zambia, Zimbabwe, Ghana, Nigeria, Swaziland, Burkina, Mali, Kenya, South Africa. All these are provinces because we are on the same piece of land that we call Africa. At the end of the day, the plurality of our independence has increased also the weaknesses of our strength. I personally travel the continent and the globe over. I've never understood how many visas I must get as I cross from one. This does not make sense that in a beautiful country like Africa, we would constantly look at our national anthems and passports as superior to each other, to even an extent where we begin politically to mock each other. And we look at America with its 52 states, that they were able to have one American dream, which is the United States of America, with one currency. You look at Europe, with all the various countries that are there, they were able to come together. Now they have the euro dollar or the euro. You look at China, almost 1 billion people. They were able to consolidate all their provinces and have one superpower you call China. You look at India, consolidated, one big superpower. I don't know why Africans become too intelligent. Immediately you begin to talk about unity. Africans become very intelligent. They have every reason as to why we cannot come together. They have definitions. What will happen to this? What will happen to this? What will happen to that? And that. And we become so philosophical to further extend the colonial narrative. Ladies and gentlemen, all African governments are illegitimate. Underline that. All of them are illegitimate, including our presidents. They are all illegitimate. Ask me why. Because we cannot be sitting here in 2024 and talk about the evils of Berlin Conference. And yet our countries are divided on the Berlin Conference. And the Berlin Conference put borders that were illegitimate. And yet our presidents are running countries with a jurisdiction over a colonial Berlin Conference, which we all don't recognize. We needed to understand the dream of Kwame Nkrumah as that of a united Africa. We unite Africa, we unite our currencies. We have one currency. We unite Africa, we have one stock exchange, so we can sell our raw materials at the World International Price and get a premium for our resources. We unite Africa, we consolidate our curriculum, both academic and skills development, so that our children are not limited by the borders of where they are working. We unite Africa, we design one official language. It may take us 10 to 15, 20 or 30 years to have Swahili, for example, since it is the biggest language in the country, so that we can be able to communicate one with another. Don't worry if you can't speak Swahili. Just put it in schools. Your children will be able to catch it. We unite Africa, we unite one passport so that we can move freely up and down the continent without restriction. We unite Africa, we have one national army, one national army. The Department of Military and Veterinary Services, or each government military base, consolidate all those armies into one army. The first assignment is to go back to Congo and silence the war in Congo. And that army must walk around the continent and protect the entire continent from the influences of the West. We unite Africa, we can have our own one satellite for our own TV, our own entertainment, and our own security issues. We unite Africa, we consolidate our medicines and our herbs, and we're able to create our own pharmaceutical company that is able to produce drugs that are friendly to the black skin. Wake up, black men. There are technologies that are linked to DNAs. And until you can write the narrative in the pharmaceuticals, you constantly be consuming drugs that are not making us better, but instead they are killing us. We unite Africa, we can create our own food basket. Agriculture becomes key. From Zambia into Congo, into Uganda, We have enough water and land to feed the entire world. We unite Africa, we are able to begin to see ourselves becoming a superpower so that we can also sit on the Security Council of the world. Right now, 55 of us, we don't even have a seat on the Security Council, not even to be consulted. NATO makes decisions without us. Kwame Nkrumah's decision and his vision was for the unification of Africa, where again you find the dangers of leadership. The leadership of Kwame Nkrumah and the leadership of Julius Nyerere, the famous debate that has led us to where we are. Kwame Nkrumah said, let's do it now. Tambarage Julius Nyerere said, let's do it progressively, let's do it slowly. And to date, we are still doing it slowly. 60 years later, ladies and gentlemen, freedom is never donated. You need to take it by force. And until we as African children are tired of eating bones, are tired of having our children drowning on the Mediterranean Sea, are tired of planting coffee and yet we are eating crumbs, are tired of being chased away from our homes for mineral minings and we never benefit from those, are tired of going to school and we are still unemployed and we don't have jobs. Until we are tired of being vaccinated and being told how many children to have, and we are tired of being defined. You are not he, you are not she, you are them, you are this and that. Until we feel culturally violated, academically violated, until we as a nation of Africans can say it stops with our generation. There is no more time for doing it slowly. We need a resolution. The danger we have, however, religion is our problem because our religious leaders are paying allegiance to the coconuts and the white regime. Our politicians are a weakest link because they are paying allegiance to the coconuts and the colonial regimes. And they will not donate power as African leaders. I'll tell you why. Because they are benefiting from the system. And until the 1.3, 1.5 billion Africans will understand that 55 leaders in Africa cannot make decisions that are affecting 1.4 billion people. Isn't it funny to you, ladies and gentlemen, that even the election of your Africa Union presidents is not in your hands as Africans? This is a decision which is left only for presidents so that they can choose each other. And tell me the honest truth, one little thing that the Africa Union has achieved to date. There is war on every other third or fourth border in Africa. Yet Farke and his committee in the Africa Union are flying to Brussels, are flying to Frankfurt, are flying to Ethiopia, are flying to New York, packs and packs of diplomats. Diplomat my foot. You go there simply to take pictures. To take pictures with Macron, take pictures with Xi Jinping, take pictures with Trump. And you think that after taking pictures and you hang them in your house, it will make a difference to the pollution of water in Congo through the cyanidization and gold that is being dug out. It will bring order and peace to Somalia with the repression of oil mines. It will bring food to the children in the Delta in Nigeria, whose pipes of the British petroleum go through their villages and they have no benefit from that. It cannot be so that we produce so much, yet we have so little until we develop sensitive leaders. We produce leadership that has direction, that has purpose. We know who we are, we know where we are coming from, and we know where we are going. With those few words, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to submit to us that all of us, we need to come up with a hashtag borderless Africa, hashtag Africa Unite, hashtag one currency, hashtag one army, hashtag Africa is the country we are all provinces, hashtag one academic institution and curriculum, hashtag one medical center so we can approve our own medicines. It's funny. Before you produce a drug, it must go to Canada. Before you can sell food, it must go to Canada, to FAO. It must go to be recognized in the West. Our grandmothers and grandfathers have been using these things for years. But now we must wait for a white man, Johnson & Johnson, to approve a drug before it can be used locally. Damn, you don't know. We even have medicine for chasing mosquitoes away from our skins. We have been doing this for ceaseless ages. Women have been delivering children here for thousands of years. You cannot tell us that our methodologies of life are insecure, they're inferior. We need to start consolidating our power. I strongly believe Africa is a giant who is fast asleep. It belongs to us. the task is upon us to begin to talk African unity, not as a cliche, but practically begin to process step by step. And I would recommend, number one, we need to have one passport in Africa. The passport has already been designed. As to why they are not rolling it out, I don't know. We will pay for the passports ourselves. They are not going to be donating them. We will pay for ourselves. But immediately open up the passport issue, we're able to travel. Our children can go to school in any country. Food can begin to move, and the blessings and the benefits are immeasurable. I can leave you, and I will leave you in capable hands of Professor Lumumba and Elder Johnson, and I will try and listen on the sideline. But I really appreciate me being invited on this platform. I truly believe that the dream of Kwame Nkrumah will not be realized until, as individuals, we begin to do the transformation at a personal level. I thank you.